Hello students, today topic of discussion is male genital system. Okay, so this is your practical session. So what you should know is very few topics for your practicals. One of them is torsion testis. Okay, so what this is the normal testicle on the right side, which you can see with the attached spermatocord. You have the testis and then you have epididymis and it goes up like that. Okay, so what is this torsion testis? This is nothing but there is twisting. Okay, twisting of the spermatocord. So when there is twisting of the spermatocord, what happens? The blood supply to the distal organs will get affected. So it can be anywhere, twisting in the tunica vaginalis, or it can be external to it. Okay, so what is the ideally it is usually seen in the first year of life, and it peaks during the second peak is around puberty. Okay, so what is the clinical feature? They present with severe pain and swelling. Okay, swelling either of the testes, or if it is even more aggressive, the whole scrotum will get enlarged. Okay, so what are the etiological factors? What do you think it could be? Basically, there is occlusion of the vessels. So when there is occlusion of the vessels, that will indirectly cause infarction. Okay, so thereby the entire blood supply to the testis and the adjacent structures is lost. Okay, so what happens? This is the specimen of torsion testis with this is the testis, which you can see. This is the testis, then you have the epididymis going like that, and this is the spermatocord. Okay, so here you can see that from the gross itself, you can see that it is brown to black. Sometimes if it is an acute condition and not a chronic one, it can be red also. Okay, so microscopically, this is another picture where you can see that the testis is black to red or purple in color, and you have the attached spermatocord which goes up like that. Okay, so here this is the cut surface. If you can see the cut surface, it is brown, it is black to red. So there is extensive areas of hemorrhage and necrosis. That's why this red color which you can appreciate. Okay, now microscopically, what will you find? What is the normal microscopy of a testis? You will find seminiferous tubules, right? So all this which you are seeing is this is the seminiferous tubules, right? Each seminiferous tubules, they have different stages of sperm maturation. Okay, so basically these are the germ cells from which spermatogonia is produced, or sperms are produced, right? And this is lined by Sertoli cells and Leydig cells. So what happens here in any form of infarction? What is the type of necrosis you will get? You will get coagulative necrosis. Okay, so here remember, the ghost outline of the seminiferous tubules will remain. What does coagulation necrosis? You know that the inside the cells, all the structures will get distorted. Only the outer rim or the cytoplasmic rim will remain. Okay, so here as the etiology is congestion, or there is decreased blood supply, so because of that, what happens? The entire seminiferous tubules will get they will undergo necrosis, right? So this is another picture where you can see only the just the outline can be made out. Rest everything is undergone necrosis. Okay, fine. The next topic of discussion is seminoma testis. So what is seminoma? Seminoma is usually a germ cell tumor. Okay, seen in the third decade. That means around 30 to 40 years. So this is not a theory class, but I'll just brush a little bit what is important for you. Okay, now there are three types of seminomas. You have the classical one, spermatocytic, and you have anaplastic. Okay, so of the which classical is the most common one, right? So what is the female counterpart of seminoma testis? It is dysgerminoma. This is a favorite Viva question. Invariably you will be asked, what is the female counterpart of seminoma? It is dysgerminoma. Okay, so grossly, how will you describe this tumor? So now that you know that this is a testis with the spermatocord attached. Okay, so here you can see, you can tell them that this is a bulky tumor or solid. It has rubbery surface. It can be firm and bossylated. If you can appreciate it, it is a bossylated tumor. Okay, and cut surface is usually gray to white or gray white in appearance. That's how you describe this tumor. Okay, so this is the cut section which you're seeing. You can see that there is homogeneous, right, uniformly there is gray white appearance. And if you can appreciate, there is a sharp demarcation. This is the sharp demarcation. See, sorry, this is the sharp demarcation from the normal testis. So this side you have the normal testis, on the left side you have the normal testis. Okay, so that is how you will describe seminoma, right? This is another picture of seminoma itself, where you can see there is a well circumscribed gray to white tumor. Okay, and adjacent area you can see that the normal testis, below you have the epididymis that goes up, and you have the spermatocord. Okay, now coming to the microscopy, how will you describe? First you have to describe the pattern of distribution. How are the cells distributed, or how are the cells arranged? The cells can be arranged as lobules, or they can be arranged as nest. If you can appreciate, these are all nests. Okay, and there is some intervening fibrous septa, okay, or fibrous stroma, whatever. Okay, so first we'll describe the tumor cells. How are these cells? The cells are large. Obviously, if you can appreciate, the cells are large, okay, and uniform. All of them, they look alike, right? And they have abundant clear cytoplasm. Why there is abundant clear cytoplasm? Because there is increased glycogen within the cytoplasm. Okay, and usually the nucleus is placed centrally with a conspicuous nucleoli. Sometimes you can appreciate, see in this you can appreciate the nucleoli properly. Okay, and what about the stroma, the surrounding stroma? You have, see, it is fibrous, yes, I agree, but there are some lymphocytes, some plasma cells. Okay, and some of them will show inflammatory reaction also. So this is the microscopy of seminoma. Okay, this is very, very important for you, both theory wise as well as practical wise, right? This is another high power where you can appreciate the pattern. Okay, again another picture. Right. Okay, so there we finish. Sorry, there we finish testis. Now we'll go to the next topic, which is prostate. Okay, so prostate, only one topic you have to learn, that is benign prostatic hyperplasia. Okay, so what is this? This is nothing but a prostate. Prostate is a gland. Okay, now where is this gland located? Just below the urinary bladder. Okay, and it is like a what do you say, it is like a cusp. Okay, it is just catching the urethra in place, something like that. Just remember, just imagine like that. Okay, so what happens in benign prostatic hyperplasia? This is usually common in middle-aged to elderly men. Okay, it is that transition. So what happens? Because of the excess testosterone stimulation, the prostate starts enlarging. Okay, enlarging in size. So when it enlarges, it will kink the urethra. So you should remember that all the symptoms will be because of the kinking of the urethra. So what are the clinical features? What clinical features you can imagine? One is hesitancy, right? And poor urinary stream, urinary retention, because the patient cannot pass urine. The urine is remain in the bladder itself. Okay, so that will indirectly become a nidus for organisms to grow. So their patient will have recurrent UTI. So these are the normal clinical features of benign prostatic hyperplasia. Now, what happens exactly here? There is glands and you have lobules or ductules or acini, whatever. Okay, so these things, what happens, there is increase in the number. Okay, so increase in the number and increase in the size of the stroma, both hand in hand. So you have hyperplasia of the glands and hypertrophy of the stroma. Okay, so what is the stroma? Mainly made up of muscles, right? Muscles and fibroblast. So you can have both. You will have glandular hyperplasia and you can have hypertrophy of the intervening stroma, right? So this is another picture where you can appreciate that normal flow through the urethra, and bilaterally you have the normal prostate. And when you can imagine, this is the enlarged prostate. So you can see that there is kinking of the urethra. So there is restricted urine flow, or there is hesitancy, right? And then gradually, if the prostate starts enlarging and enlarging, it will slowly cause complete obstruction to the urethra. Okay, so this is prostate cut section. I'll tell you, this is an enlarged prostate. Okay, not a normal one, right? Cut surface, you will see multiple circumscribed nodules. If you can appreciate, small nodules are there. Okay, and they can vary in size and in consistency also. So just imagine, if the glands are proliferating, there will be more yellow in color, yellow to pink, and they'll have a honeycomb appearance. Glands, right? So there is so much of secretion, so they'll be soft in consistency, right? If it is fibrous tissue that is proliferating, they will be pale gray in color. Let me see if I have another picture. No, sorry. They'll be gray in color. Okay, and they will be firm in consistency. Why? Because there is so much of fibrous tissue, right? So that will cause the prostate to become even more firm, right? Now we'll go to the microscopy. What is a microscopy? Here you will find glands and stroma. Whatever you're seeing, these are acini, or these are glands, and then intervening the pink things which you're seeing, that is stroma. Okay, so you will have nodules of these glands, okay, with variable proportion of stroma as well as glands. So remember, here you will have three components. You will have epithelial components. Either it can be proliferation of epithelial components, or it can be proliferation of smooth muscle, or it can be just proliferation of stroma. Okay, so if it is epithelial components, it is glands which is getting proliferated. So remember, how will you describe these glands? This is basically enlarged glands. Okay, with it has two layers. Okay, in inner tall columnar cells and the outer cuboidal epithelium. That is how the glands are. Okay, and only if the smooth muscles are proliferating, the intervening the pink area which is there will keep on proliferating. The muscle will keep on proliferating. Okay, if it is the stroma which is proliferating, this fibroblast will keep proliferating. Okay, so it can be any of these three, right? This is the gland, another high power. Now you can appreciate the inner tall columnar cells, okay, and the outer flattened, this one, the flattened or the cuboidal cells. Okay, now what are the complications of BPH? What happens? So because there is difficulty in urine to come out freely, what happens? There will be hypertrophy of the bladder. Okay, so the patient will have recurrent infections, recurrent UTI. That is a very severe complication. And what happens, because there is obstruction to the outflow, they will be indirectly, you will have hydroureters, and then you will have hydronephrosis. So all these are complications of BPH. BPH is an important topic for you, okay, theory wise. Right, practicals, they might ask you for identification. Okay, you should know it definitely. Okay, so the next topic is carcinoma of the penis. Okay, carcinoma of penis is not quite common these days because people are quite aware. Okay, but still it is usually seen in elderly males, elderly men. Okay, peaking around 80 years, and it has strong association with HPV infection. Okay, remember, okay, HPV infection, and it usually arises in either it can be in the glands, or it can be in the purpose, or it can be in the coronal sulcus, any of these areas. Okay, and grossly, how will you describe this? It has two patterns. You have exophytic growth. Exophytic means it is fungating type of growth, a cauliflower type of growth. Okay, just remember. Then endophytic means it can be either in the form of an ulcer, which you can see here. This is an ulcerative growth, or it can be an infiltrative growth. Okay, so this is okay. So that is the grossly what you're seeing. When you cut it, what will you find? You will find gray white areas. Okay, gray white areas with areas of hemorrhage and necrosis. What normally you will find in a malignancy, you will find here also. Right. So the next one is microscopy. Microscopy, how will you describe a squamous cell carcinoma? The same skin, what you describe, the same thing you will describe here also. Okay. There will be proliferation of irregular proliferation of cells into the dermis. Okay. Then how will you describe the cells? All malignancy features, that is anisopoikilocytosis, hyperchromasia, atypical mitosis, okay, increased NC ratio, prominent nucleoli, all those features you will definitely have. Something very striking here is squamous cell carcinoma is a keratin pearls. Okay, when you find these keratin pearls, you label it as well differentiated squamous cell carcinoma. Okay, so this finishes our today's topic. I want you to draw three diagrams. One is torsion testis, then you have BPH, that is benign prostatic hyperplasia, and then you have seminoma. Okay, so draw these diagrams and send your notes to the mentors. Okay, thank you.